All right, guys. Well, good to see you, Cuban. And let me make sure I'm sharing. Am I sharing? Yeah, I am. I just went back and I kind of removed everything off the chart just to see, for a lot of you guys that are new to this, right? You might have seen candles and you understood stuff like this, but without any representation of volume profile or market profile, you're not really able to put, why is it rejecting here but not up here? Those type of things you're not able to really tell just by naked price action, even though a lot of times they do grab, I would say, liquidity, the stop runs. But typically when you're in a bracket like we are now, and it's pretty clear, right? I'm on a weekly PVP here, and look how far are we going, and what have we done since this break right here? I would say since, let's say this is the day we broke, so since November 5th. What has market done?
Nothing, just stayed in a bracket.
Nothing. We just stayed in a bracket. So now when you think about impatient traders, for instance, when you're at the top of the bracket, let's say tomorrow, we have a big day and they decide to visit somewhere around here. Do you really think as a day trader, this is the spot for you to be taking long of a bracket of, let's say, 2 weeks?
No.
Okay. What would you want to see?
Maybe a peak above and fail.
That would
Sure.
be,
retest.
say it again.
A peak above and retest if we want to go long.
Yeah, I mean, to go long, we need the price to auction higher, right? And not look for access on the top, right? Because if we find that on the market profile, then it means that somebody found it to be too valuable of a sell and they took the opportunity to become what? Initiative or responsive seller?
Initiative.
Responsive
Is it?
seller.
It would be a responsive seller, right? Responsive sellers sit where? On the bid or ask?
Ask.
On the, sorry,
They're
Ask.
always
the
on the
right
ask.
side.
On the right side is the ask. That means they're passive
The
sellers.
right side
is right. It's like you saying, hey, you got some special, let's say, NBA card, and you're like, man, I'm not in a hurry for the money. I'll just put it right here at $6,022.50. And if somebody offers me on eBay that much, I'll sell it. And if nobody offers it, what happens? You just leave it there because you're not in a rush, right? And that's a responsive seller. If this is our value, let's say this is our bracket, it probably goes, I could probably tag it all the way to here, honestly. Something like this. And you see them getting in, accepting, going above twice. So the more times they spend here, the weaker that supply gets there for these sellers that are selling at advantageous price. When they start moving the price up because they're like, oh man, I see buyers stepping in. What do you think they do? If Danny sees that somebody's buying his shoes at this level, and a lot of them, and then he lifts it here and the quantity stays the same and aggression, what do you think Danny does next?
I would sell them.
Lower the price a little.
You're selling fast and they're increasing your demand. Like you can't keep up with it. You decrease the price,
Oh no,
Yeah.
go up.
Yep.
you increase the price.
Yeah.
The rule of maximizing profits is this. You keep raising the price as long as your quantity demanded and you're not starting to lose money. So it will look like this, right? And then let's say here you're not getting more traction, right? So you go here, but you're not able to make on the auctions bidding, hey, 44.40, somebody wants this, and nobody says that. You ask a couple of times. Let's say for 10 days you don't get any sales on the shoes at this level. What do you think they have to do?
I have to lower the price of the shoe.
I have to lower the price of the shoe to see if I find a fair price that was previously accepted somebody to buy it, Me and you on value will not be the same. Like somebody could justify spending money on Balenciagas or whatever they're named, right? And I'm not saying
Yep.
it's bad, but I'm just saying I personally don't value that.
Mhm.
And just like somebody, well, let's look at some investments, individual, just for a moment. There was somebody that valued, sorry, I didn't mean to laugh because I don't know if any of you guys bought it. Somebody valued that I should buy this at 256. You don't believe me? Well, for every guy here, you know, for every buy, there has to be a sell. So if somebody was selling here, were they selling at the wrong price? Or was it advantageous to them?
That was a
mean,
good price to sell for sure.
I mean, if they got it at 220, they sell it right here. That's pretty good money on a company that's a giant, right? I mean, that's heavy. And then same thing happened here. And this is when, you know, we talk about shoes, same concept, right? So let's see, right? You're selling shoes and you offload your inventory here, and then say, let's say I bring back the shoes to a discounted price where you bought it from before. You wouldn't buy here?
Yeah, I would definitely buy there again to try to sell up top again.
Exactly. And what did we do, for instance, on Apple calls when it came here? Does anyone recall?
Yep. Phone calls.
We got the 250 calls, and of course they went almost in the money. We didn't sell it here because of the ER that was coming up. I forgot where. Maybe that was the ER candle, but we sold it somewhere 235. Some runners, I think, few of you guys had it, but it was a good trade. The same concept, right? So when you find the prices like this one that are, you know, pretty advantageous, I'm not looking to be a buyer necessarily here, because right now, when you think about this, what does this look like to a retail investor?
Trend line.
It looks like a bull flag,
Yeah.
right? And now when they see the bull flag, and if this bull flag doesn't produce massive higher highs, which I'm not saying it can't, I'm just telling you what they can play out. If they do this, let's say they drop another time tomorrow, right? Tomorrow we have a, you know, is it PPI or CPI, one of the two. And what if they do this then? All these guys, or maybe they give them a little twitch, go up and then go down and do this. Where's your reward to buy on a bull flag? If you're playing pattern, is it here or is it on the bottom of this?
Bottom.
Your reward is on the bottom, right? So, and the momentum trader in retail is most likely going to be looking not to miss the train when this starts moving higher. Just like when people were going here, we put in lower lows and they're, you know, looking for shorting here, right? And then of course you got to reverse, you made higher highs and so on. So don't be basically doing discovery on the price when you're in a massive bracket like we are now. Like there's no reason for you to do discovery here by yourself on the long side or the short side. We visited this almost twice. Here we spent some time. We haven't been since the highs back to the lows. So not saying we have to, but if in the bracket we're gonna test to see if we offload the inventory here, can we buy it a little cheaper, right? So don't this is not an area for you to be super bullish. Just giving you what that means when you're bracket trading. Does that make sense? Hopefully my Danny Shoes business is making sense to you guys.
So basically, like I just want to know if I got this right. So they'll keep bringing price higher and higher till let's.
Danny's got to give us a discount.
So they'll keep trying to bring price higher and higher till there's no more buyers, and then once they're sold out, they'll try to bring price down to buy again.
That's exactly right. Just like you would. That's exactly what they want to do. All right. So I would mark this level here. Let me make sure I'm not.
Shorty, would you short this? The ES?
Like right now?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't checked to see where we are in terms. I just want to make sure the bracket, and now I'll bring up the levels. Let's see, do this. All right. So somebody said, "Would I short this?" Let's see if I would short something here.
The beer has a hot mic.
Oh, sorry. It muted me.
I would. I mean, below this price here, below 71, I would, yeah. Taking this short here without them cleaning up one more time the highs here. I don't know if I would do that. Either be patient, let them get above and lose it, and then play the whole thing from 80 to about 64. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
At
Okay.
least that's what I would do.
Okay.
The reward is not here. I mean, you're shorting this maybe 71. Your odds are better here down.
You're in RTH, Shorty.
Oh, I'm in RTH. Where is
Yeah,
it
we're
now?
at 81.
Oh, that's a little bit different now. Okay, well this is a little bit different. This is you want to watch now. Why do you want to watch here?
Peak above and fail.
Well, we just went inside. So if you guys remember the 2-day balance that we gapped out of? Like right here. Remember we sold off and we're coming back to that range, correct? You guys following or no?
Yes.
Yep, so this is the range that was in for 2 days before. Right here. So if I just take the FVP here and I look at it, I want to know where's that 2-day value area low, because that means you're trying to get what?
Inside that value.
You want to find acceptance inside this value, and then you want to trade here, which would mean that you're rejecting lower prices out of this balance, and now you're going to try to accept higher. And if you do, I honestly think we could make all-time highs. And it's going to be fairly important because there's this trend line on the top as well that everybody's going to be watching, that bullish line, whatever you want to call it. So everybody's going to be watching that, and you're going to have momentum traders, right? Just remember, new administration, new rules. One tweet can derail that whole thing as well. So take your money when it's on the table during this administration. You guys heard me this morning. I took SPY puts, then I had SPX puts that went pretty well. But I didn't want to sell it. I was risking all of it, just $200 to see if I could make 5 times the money, and it didn't work out. At one point, they were like 6 something. It was good return, 200%, but I was just being greedy for one time. And I did get SPX puts for tomorrow. And main reason for tomorrow, and I'm not saying that something bearish happens with the news. I was just looking at the, kind of like a 2-week balance that we are in right now. And what do you guys think? Early or not? And what am I playing then? I mean, what is the thought process that one would have to swing a put?
Peak above, fail at the top, go test the bottom 80%.
Yeah, but the entry is important, right? So we have, how many nodes do we have on this week right now that's building?
Almost 3, like 3, I would say. 2,
You
3.
have 3 nodes, right? 1, 2, 3. So I want to treat each node as acceptance zone, right? So here, here, and here, and now we try to get above this right here, right? And we got rejected. Then we put in lower highs, and at one point we put in a lower low here. We put a higher low, which is, forming a triangle, which means consolidating, right? No higher highs and higher lows. It's just telling us we're consolidating at this price, but they're accepting right at it. So they tried twice, got rejected. I'm looking to see if they lower the price for what? Maybe they lower the price to the bottom to see if there's buyers again. So that's what I'm kind of playing, just to see if I can catch that, get some panic mode. Whatever the number is, there's going to be panic buyers, sellers. And if they offer that, anywhere, yearly VWAP sitting around 20-ish. Let me move this guy up. So it's shifting higher. And then you have the 6,002 level. So it's doable, right? If they can't accept this price in the top distribution of the weekly, they'll seek lower prices, right? And what a better way than dip below, let's say hit this excess low from today at 60.34 and then go long, right? That's doable as well. So let me hide PVP. 2-day balance here. All right, let's just talk about why do we have this gray zone here? Where we bounced from, I guess, so far. I think even.
Kind of like a split between the two values for the day.
I mean, it's basically giving you a distribution, right? And I mentioned this in chat today. At one point, they're trading here, and then they lost it. Then we were watching, I believe, 63, which was here somewhere, to hold this, and they did, right? If they would have lost this, what would that tell you? Who's in control at that point?
The Bears?
The Bears would have been in control, full control, because that means, you went lower, you tried to find acceptance here, and then let's say you lost it, that would mean you're most likely putting lower lows. Today's IB was wide. Was that a trend day?
No.
What was it?
A reject reverse or open reject and
I'm talking about day types.
A
Day
normal variation day.
Yeah, it's a normal variation. And why is that? Since half of them are. What's the characteristics of normal variations? Anyone?
It does it hit 2x IB. It extends mainly one side of the IB.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't fall back inside and just stays above that IB, right? And it did that. And the balance is, I would say, pretty wide, right? So you're talking about 38 points, average is 29, so 10 points higher is pretty wide IB. And you see them, they went above, and then they created a split, right, in that zone. They basically, so if you guys look, there's two TPOs here. So maybe something like this. So two TPOs, basically this is our zone, and this is what would be the key zone for bears to go through. How would you classify the key level?
I say it's 67.
Yeah. I would say something like this would be your zone. You grab that IBH, you grab this top. If you can crack through this zone, that means you're seeking acceptance lower, finding buyers lower, then you can turn bearish. As long as they hold this, they're in control for right now, right? And they are trying to knock inside this 2-day balance. It's almost like, hey, there's a balance here. You tried, you got, rejected. Now,
Shorty, would
if
they have to go through the daily and monthly VWAP too?
I mean, that's a big level. I mean, monthly is, half a month's in. It's a pretty big level, and that their discount zone for the sell-off is also here at 59. So
they could potentially bounce at monthly.
they could set up a trap. Yeah, I mean, this is a perfect spot. I showed today in footprints. If you guys remember when I said they most likely want to dip, regain a level, and do this at one point when we were dropping, and they kind of did that, right? This is the same setup here because a lot of people are watching this from naked price action, right? You have one low, then you have a little bit of higher low. It's almost equal lows. And they're like, man, if you crack this, I'm going to go short, right? Well, when they go short, these people are like, oh, never mind. I don't like the value below. And they do this. Now, all these shorts, they get exhausted a little bit of buying, and then they reverse and buy, and then they cause a little cover rally to the upside. So definitely, I mean, that's why I have them there. And it's for you as a trader. Let's say that this daily is probably gonna shift, right, by tomorrow, and then the monthly is not gonna shift much. So the monthly stays there along with the 50% discount. I would say that's a pretty good effort to look for a trap, just like today. I think Burnside called it right before me that when we saw a trap on the bulls, when we dropped, I think it was like 12 to 14 points from it. It was a good trap on the bull side, but there's a lot of late bulls that stepped in, and then they did what? They shook them out, and then they made higher highs. Because now the bulls are like switching to shorts, and when they get shaken out of the short, what are they doing? They buy to cover. So if this was net new buyers today, what do you want to see from net new buyers tomorrow? Do you want the net new buyers to spend a lot of time building value here, or you want them to say, no, we got the value here, we're going higher. We believe it's higher. If it's net new buyers.
It has them want to have confidence and go higher.
Yeah, tomorrow we gotta, you know, you have to go here. I would say this balance here, and you have the, I would say, what is this? You know, 2 days almost POC here. You see, you have a POC here, pretty high node here and here. So if you use volume profile, you know, you can see where that would fall. So the POC stays here. If they're able to crack this, guys, there's a high chance that most likely they're going, this is not PD value area high, but this is 2-day value high. Sorry. They're most likely headed here, guys. If they're able to crack this and find acceptance here, I would look for that. And something on the daily also sticks out. So for newer folks, do you guys see it? Is there anything they need to fix?
Or high?
Yeah, we do have a poor high, right? You have a poor high, and what type of profile is it?
Double distro?
Essentially double distro, but is it a typical double distro or more conservative? Let me give you a better picture.
Conservative.
Pretty conservative. Why do you say that?
Tight balance, value area.
Yeah, they type value area, and that's typical on P shapes, right? On B shapes, the value area high is usually not at the top, because it's usually somewhere at the node or, you know, right there, either below it or right above it slightly. Here, you know, value area high is pretty close to the high of the day, which means it's pretty bullish, right? But when you look at the thickness and how many TPOs they spent on the bottom, usually you don't want to see too much time being spent on the bottom and then going. That usually is a sign of weak sellers, right? Because you're moving them slowly, and you know the volume was also, if you look here, was not very confident till here, and then it picked some up here. You know, they defended that level, but now you want to see if the bulls are in control tomorrow. They got to crack this 81 to about 82. They just got to fly through it.
So
And
that would mean they were finding like buyers there, and they were trying to take it higher to find if they would buy it higher. Basically,
right here, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't find anyone. That means there's a buyer exhaustion.
Okay.
So tomorrow we can either clean this up quickly and maybe get rejected out of this 2-day balance. If we get in and lose it, I turn bearish, right? Because that means they're rejecting it and we're going to continue trading in this range maybe. But being a P shape, you know, either we continue really aggressive out of the gate, crack this level, or, right, lose this, I would say this zone monthly VWAP and this, you know, 2 TPO split to the downsides. And, you know, you would probably hit this 44.25. And below that, I would watch 20 to this IBL as well. Okay. And tomorrow's PPI, it's going to be, I think tomorrow is going to be a giant candle. It's going to be the one that could break out of this balance. If I was, you know, if I was to be a betting man, I'd take that bet that they're going to break the balance tomorrow. And you don't want to be on the wrong side of it. All right, guys. Thank you. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Right after the fireworks.
Thank you, Shorty.
Thanks, Shorty.
Thank you, Shorty.